Awesome. Okay, guys. So if you're watching this right now, then you have been invited to this webinar to just learn a little bit about what Infinityy is. And Infinityy, for me, has been a passion project. I will tell you that I am not on staff at this company at all, but I wish I was, because when I first saw this product, I want to say several months ago, when I was involved and still involved in a development project up in Maine. It was originally introduced to me through a number of people who had utilized this product to great effectiveness in the commercial property management leasing space. And I saw this for residential real estate and I was like, this is amazing. And I'm graced, blessed, have an awesome opportunity to interact with the CEO, Jim Schoonmaker, who is joining us today. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
It's great. Glad to be here, David.
Awesome, man. Well, Jim has put up with me as I've been beta testing this in the residential space for a number of months now. Just as a quick introduction to who I am, I run a real estate team, and many of you who are watching this may run real estate teams. You may be in the commercial real estate space. You may be in leasing. You may be in property management. You also may be a photographer who's jumping into this, or you could be a guy just like me who's a listing agent and team leader and wants to generate more leads in this market. And the reality is people are paying through the nose for Zillow, through the nose for Realtor.com, and all of the other realty portals that are out there. And although I do that, I've realized that one of the best ways that I can make use of this low inventory environment is to actually close more sides of the transaction, many times even double ending those by the process that you'll see here in this quick demonstration of under 20 minutes, where Jim and I kind of walk you through what Infinityy is and its purpose. I'll give you the too long, didn't read, or didn't watch. This is lead generation and property touring all in one. It's going to make it so you can close listing presentations better, faster with your clients, that you can justify the commission spend, and it also gives you an amazing option for lead generation that we're going to go over here. So Jim, I'm going to walk around the property. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your amazing experience in the tech space, etc.
Again, thanks for inviting me, and certainly glad to show Infinityy to all of you folks that are watching, and really appreciate the opportunity. So Infinityy was really born of this idea that I had where I was struggling to find an apartment for my daughter, who had graduated from college, and she was in Chicago and she was looking for things. And we were basically passing a bunch of links back and forth. And we really struggled to try and figure out how to collaborate on this decision. How do we engage and really understand the value of a home or an apartment in a way that could be really compelling? My background is I actually had been involved in kind of the original Street View experience. I was CEO of a company called Everyscape, which really pioneered that whole idea. And one of the challenges we had is we were just experiencing this stuff by ourselves. And when we are actually marketing a home, we bring people into the home and take them through in person for a reason. There's relationships building, there's feedback that you get, there's all kinds of ways that we can interact and read body language and just understand what somebody thinks of a space to help us continue to kind of market to them in an effective way. And we weren't getting that if you're in a Matterport. We weren't getting that if we're actually in a Google Street View, because they're just walking around and not talking to anybody.
As I'm doing right now, right? It's like, we've seen this before. You're showing me Matterport. Well, keep going, Jim.
Understood. And so what we really wanted to do is figure out, how do we experience these properties together? And once we began to unpack that idea, what we really uncovered was a way to do a better job of pulling people through the funnel inside the content. So instead of your listing or a website just being kind of a glorified brochure, we transition it to a place to meet your prospects, a place to meet your customers, a place where they can meet fellow family members or other people that can help them make the decision. And when we converted this from, again, kind of a one-way conversation to a really a collaborative endeavor where we can really work with sales professionals, we can work with fellow family members or contractor friends or whatever it is to help us come to this space, experience it together, and help answer the questions that we might have, it was going to fundamentally transform what we were really doing with this content. And therefore making things like Matterport and Street View much, much, much more valuable.
Well, I think that, let me just show people just who are watching this a few of the features. So obviously when you're in a Matterport, you're walking around just like me. You're like, cool, man, I've seen this before. Well, actually, a lot of the Matterport usage, especially in the residential space, has plummeted. And the reason is people are saying to themselves, I'm a photographer. I'm shooting the listing. I barely get the photos over to the guy who's listing the property. The property's already sold. Why? Because there's such low inventory. So why do they need to spend more money on a Matterport? Who cares? If the guy can't wait in line at the open house, and he probably doesn't want to buy it, and he's not going to buy it just off of Matterport. And maybe it has application in the relocation space or in the COVID space or all these other options. But for us as real estate agents, for us as commercial brokers or residential brokers, et cetera, the biggest thing that I wanted to know was, A, how much does this cost? B, how easy is it to use? And C, does it generate me more leads on my product? And for myself, when I realized that it could do that so quickly, awesome, I was in. Now, here's for me, it's a super easy spot. So obviously touring throughout the property can be pretty quickly done. We just can click on a few of these items here on the left-hand side, and we can transition very quickly throughout the home, just as you normally would in a Matterport. There's your blue fireplace. Not sure how that'll help with the marketing, but it can transition really quickly. Well, the cool thing is as well is you can click your floor plans, and I can actually see where Jim and I are both at in the property. So Jim's still in the foyer, and I'm in the living room, and I'm facing more closely towards the dining and the kitchen areas. And if I wanted to, I could click on this guide the group, and when I click guide the group, Jim's actually seeing what I'm seeing as we walk through the property. So it gives you this ability not only for individual or independent showings, but it also gives you the ability to guide the tour just as you would with another real estate agent. Well, how is Jim in this with me already? Okay, so maybe it's that he's the developer and so he just has some secret link. No, let me get into this. You can obviously see these cool little buttons that click here and that just alert people, hey, invite roommates, a family, co-signer, just the same way that Jim was talking about for his daughter. It's very simple. I can click a button here and I can get a link to the product. I can get an SMS, I can get an email, and all of those will send either a text message, a straight up link, or an email over to the person who you want to invite. Think about this. It could be a family member. It could be a real estate partner who wants to see the property. It could be the lender. It could be a contractor, anyone who you want in order to jump into the space, the other co-broke in a situation if you wanted that. And what we're finding works extremely well is the ability to interact with customers in this way. So how does that occur, right? So that can occur in a variety of ways. Number one, any of the marketing that you're seeing with virtual tours, cool, that's fun. But I love to take marketing to another way. And hopefully if you're in real estate, you're not just marketing through, waiting for someone to click on something through an MLS link. You're actually creating your own campaigns. And what we've been doing is we've actually been jumping in and creating your own campaigns inside of this by going over to our dashboards. And when we go over to our dashboards, we can start to create our own campaigns and utilize unique links to put in as QR codes for mailers, to put in them for our own Instagram campaigns, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. So you can actually see the effectiveness of each single campaign because it creates an individual instance of the actual viewing platform, or infinity room, as we would call it, for every single lead that comes through. And not only that, what's important about it is it actually saves the experience of what people have had, where they've gone, where they've spent time in, and even the chat conversation that they've had. So here's an example where we were just recently in the room with another individual who's looking at the property, and you can see the hello world. We're just testing it out, walking through, but you can actually see the chat and what's gone through. And that's pretty darn exciting because now you can have a conversation and say, hey, would you like me to show you a little bit more about this property than you probably saw on the MLS flyer or than you saw in, on the mailer or anything else. So you're able to see and talk back and forth with these people. Well, how the heck am I going to get notified of this anyhow? Great question. I'm glad I asked. So what ends up happening is as soon as somebody jumps into an Infinity room, you can set it up for notifications that, boom, if you can see my screen here, yep, that's an Infinity notification that Jim just jumped in this room, which means it's time for me to get to work. And this is fantastic for people who have staff members who are in the office who can either answer the phones, or for yourself, you can actually set up your own team that has as many people as you want on it that can all get notifications to let them know you've got a live lead who's inside of the program who can use some interaction. I'll slow down and say this. There is no product that I've ever worked with that has the ability to interact with a lead who's viewing the product online before they have the initiative to click the connect with an agent. And we all know what that's like. It's that whole hurdle and barrier. I don't want someone calling me. I don't want someone harassing me, but a slight text while you're viewing something to say, hey, it's the listing agent. Did you want to know a little bit more about the property than what I was able to fit on the MLS? Is so amazing, and the traffic's been fantastic. So Jim, tell us a little bit about like how easy is this to set up before I go into some of the property stuff and even the lead gen stuff.
For sure. Again, as you mentioned, we sort of start with the kind of content that you already have, whether it's a Matterport, excuse me, or a virtual tour from another provider. Google Street View is included in every Infinity room by default. So 2D pictures and floor plans and drone video, doesn't matter. Whatever you've got content-wise, you can bring it into the Infinity room and then begin to tell the story. As someone begins to enter the house, you can tell the story of what you're really trying to say there. And again, regardless of what content that you're trying to use. The other important point that I would sort of talk about is there's sort of 3 stages that you were sort of talking about, like which is someone goes and clicks in the Infinity room. We want them to already be able to experience the home as if you were there. And we have those things called features, which we can actually show you right here, which is if you click the features over here, and when they land here initially, they will actually see a little description of welcome to 46 Barkhamstead Road and a little bit about the floor plan. And some people don't know how to run a Matterport, or some people aren't familiar with how to do this. And all they have to do, and you can even see the kind of blinking button here, is just click the next button. And that is going to take them through the content experience in a very seamless and intuitive way. So they don't really have to figure out how to grab the screen and click through or find a circle or anything like that. They just click the next and previous button, and they see the story of the home the way you want to tell it, as if you were there. And that's sort of the first thing that we do for you folks. The second thing we do is we allow them to share it with other people. So again, if there is somebody that they want to, like a spouse or a roommate or a co-signer or whatever it is, and as David said earlier, all you have to do is kind of click this plus symbol, text somebody, give them a link, and they're in there with you, just like David and I are right now. And then the third thing is, as David was talking about, this notion of notifications, which is if you found that someone actually has been back several times, you've looked at it, and you want to engage with them live, you're going to get that notification. You can just click a button and says, hey, I'm Jim. I'm the listing agent for this property. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. They're probably pretty interested because you already know they've been back a few times. And then you can give them a button that says, hey, click me a link and I can join you right now. And by trying to be the right thing at the right time in the evolution of that customer through their journey is really what Infinity became over time, which is really kind of be the right tool for the right time. Again, whether you just want to tell the story in an automated way through the previous and next button, or whether you actually want to engage with them live and really take them through the property is completely up to you.
Jim, thank you for that. If you're looking at my screen right now, which I hope you are, you're able to see deep roots and grassroots. And grassroots is where you want to get the ice cream. I think it's the best ice cream that's around, and it just happens to be in Granby, Connecticut. And Deep Roots is their store where they actually serve some food. But you can see this and you can show this because people ask all the time, tell me about what's in the area, especially if you're out of town, like what's good here. And the great thing is that through Infinity, all of these local restaurants are actually featured here. So you can go and see Lock, Stock, and Bagel, which is where you're going to stop in the morning to grab a quick bagel and a coffee before you head out. You can actually see the downtown Granby right here. Hop back over to restaurants, and you can hop over to Cambridge House, and this is where you're going to have a bunch of local brews. They got like 100 brews on tap, no joke. And you wouldn't know that because if you're not local to my area of Connecticut, then you wouldn't know any of this, but you're actually able to see it. And if you were touring with someone, then you can jump in and you can actually see what's going on here. So I want to get into the lead generation part because that's so important here. Now, obviously you're seeing the screen and it may be a little bit slower for you just because we are doing some screen recording here. So I want to be very clear about that. This is very seamless. We'd be happy to tour with you directly if you want to see this in person. It's extremely user-friendly, especially on mobile. But over here in the top left-hand corner, if you're looking at my screen, is additional documents available. And when you hit request, it's going to give us the ability for the buyer to get the seller's disclosure, the property boundary and aerial photo, and lot lines, the property inclusions exclusions. And this home has been very updated over the last several years and includes an update list. And this is so easy for people to get email, first, last name, and phone number in there. And it's an excellent way for lead generation for us to be able to gather leads this way. And you can obviously edit that list. One of the great things about Infinityy, besides being able to jump over to the dashboard, which I'll show you in a minute, is to be able to hit that edit mode, be able to add any feature you want in this property. If you want to talk about the stove and how wonderful it is, you can go right over to the stove and you say, let's say this thing wasn't LG or whatever. Let's say it was a high end Wolf or something like that. You can just add that right in, and you can talk directly about the oven range. And when you write that, you can so beautiful, and you can put a little bit more about it if you wanted to. And if I put that in there, boom, there's the stove. And if I wanted to talk about that, I can easily jump over to it. So it's really exciting that this program offers so much versatility with it. So not only that, I want to show you the beyond the edit mode over here. I want to be able to show you the dashboard, and I'm going to jump over right here. Just quickly jump in. Here's your dashboard and how easy it is to look in the back end. People want to see, well, what's the real activity on a property like this, right? So you can click in and you can see 28 times that someone's visited a specific room. Obviously, here's our test room with 198, but 14 people jumping in on this, 25 jumping in on this, 9 jumping in over here for these different properties. And then as you jump over, you can see the amount of team members. This is for a specific listing here on Barkhamsted Road, and our listing agent is here, and so she gets notified of it. The branding that we can add to this, along with the campaigns, all of these for who shows up where, and you can see 102 visitors. The mailer didn't return any. The Instagram didn't return any. We got to work on that, but the MLS returned 21 visitors. And the typical, viewership that we sent out with emails got us 102 people to the room, 102. So that's an amazing amount of opportunity that you can get for someone to show up in your spaces for leads. And I don't know about you, but I can put a listing on Zillow all day long, and if I could see thousands and thousands of views, it does me no good unless that results in actual leads that I can try to convert, or showings or buyers, and eventually offers. And if you've been in the real estate business before, we all know the effort's great, but results are what truly matter. And this is where I'm like so excited about this product, is because you actually get the results from this. It's not just, attractive there. And so whether you're in commercial real estate and you're like, oh, I need a great option in order to do some leasing, we've got some cool options, or Jim can show us at another point in time. Ask for a private preview. On the left-hand side here, where we're talking about family rooms, imagine you had all of the units in one of your particular buildings. You can click through them and then walk through just as you are here. I've actually got this for one of my 54 units developments up in Maine. That's been super easy for us to show with all the units available. If you're in residential real estate, obviously you can quickly see the applications here. But lastly, if you're a photographer and you're looking to up your business because you've been asking yourself, there's not enough listings happening, how do we increase the cost per photo shoot in order to increase it? If Matterport's been down, this is a great way where you could talk to the other agents around and say, hey, listen, you might want to check out this product because you can generate more leads and more sides of transactions from it, and I can do some more Matterport work on it. So been really cool on that. Jim, how easy is it to get a listing uploaded? Because you already told us, hey, if you have Matterport, if you have drone, if you have whatever, you can get it uploaded. How quick is it? And then we can just quickly talk a little bit about cost, because I'd love to surprise some people at how generous you've been.
Fair enough. No, but essentially it's you just send the content to us. There's a Matterport link, or if there's a folder full of photographs, we have a, hello@infinityy.com. You just send it to us. We build a project for you, and 24 hours later, you're up and running. It's often the same day.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, a lot of people ask how much this costs, guys. You'd be absolutely shocked. A lot of people I did a presentation for on this not long ago, and they were saying $200, $500 a month. You guys would be shocked to find out that per user account, it's around $50 a month per user account on these. And then there's a per listing fee of around $25 to $50, just depending on those properties as they go in. And just it's on a per month basis for however long you actually need this product. But all in, if you're talking even $100 or $200 per property in order to do this, the amount of leads, I don't know about you, but I know what my cost per lead is on Zillow, and roughly I know around the country it's been around $700. $700 for a lead. And right now we're getting well under that. I don't need to go crazy on the Facebook lead style and try to get, people who aren't really interested. I don't need to go super expensive and spend you through the nose, and I'm tracking, I'm pulling my hair out over every Zillow lead and how do we follow up with them? Nope, this is live phone calls going directly to our listing agents, going directly to our team saying, I'm interested in this particular property. And I get the chance to not only have a text conversation with them, but a voice-to-voice, face-to-face through this application and be able to show them the product at the same time and be able to direct them anyway, guys. We don't have to sell this side. We can also share this with other properties as well that you have. So hopefully this has been helpful. Jim, is there anything you'd love to tell people before we just wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, other than, again, I appreciate everybody's time. We really think the idea of transforming things from a brochure to really a place to meet your customer is a fundamental change in how we can use digital technology to really make everybody's lives easier. So again, happy to have any conversations with folks and follow up as it comes up.
Awesome, guys. Well, once again, my name is David Brooke. I am not on staff with this company. I am just simply a user, and I love it. And Jim's been asking me for, hey, man, how can we make this better? And that's one of the things I love about this company. That's one of the things I love about Jim and his vision is he's constantly looking to try to make the best product that's out there, not only for realtors, but just for the end user who's the consumer who's out there. It's been awesome. If you guys want to see more about this, then I'd be happy to volunteer up some time, or Jim would love to show you the product so you guys can take a look at it and implement this into your business. So thanks so much, guys. There's going to be information on contact below. Feel free to jump out and reach out to us there. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.
Take care.